Oh my God, welcome to the Late Mail Game Week 16 live edition. And look, I had a few technical errors there, clicking a few different buttons that weren't meant to happen, but they happened. We got the intro music in. We're live for the Late Mail Game Week 16. There's plenty to get through. I'm completely torn as to whether I've actually taken a hit. As things stand, I've made 6 transfers. I'm on a -4, and it's going to come down to later on in the show whether the card tells me to either do the free hit or stick with the -4 and just roll with the -4 and just see how we go. I'm open to both because I've sat there all day looking at it going, what should I do? And the more the day went on, the more I thought maybe I should just take a hit. And I bought Tarkowski in before he rose in price. So that was the hit I've done for Munoz. Ironically, he's just going to sit on the bench this week. So it's probably stupid, but it is what it is, and we just got to kind of roll with it, really. So, yeah, I don't know where we're going. But, yeah, let's get into it. We've got so much to get through, and this is definitely my favourite show that I like doing every single week. And what better place to start than who's coming on the D-Unit end-of-season trip? So, D-Unit, as we know, loves a bit of a joke around, loves a bit of a night out in the town, etc., etc., and that's me there. Ironically, that photo there was taken on the... Sorry, right here, right there. That was taken when I was in the top 1,000 worldwide last season. I was at snowbombing completely off chops, and I was in the top 1,000 teams in the entire world. So, yeah, at the moment, I can tell you, there's one person you might have guessed at the moment who might be coming to the D-Unit end of season trip, and that's one Phil Foden, because can you believe it now? He's gone 15, 17 and 12 in his 3 games that I bought him back before. That's 44 points. The man is killing it. He's cooking the D-Unit score. And thankfully, we've been here for the entire price rise cartel. And now, even Let's Talk FPL Andy's sitting there having nightmares about how he can catch the D-Unit's pick. How do I get him on my team? That's what he's asking himself. He's even thinking of selling Kevin Dewsbury Hall, which I think is stupid, FYI. I think if he's watching this and someone sends this to him, Andy, I would say just sell Mente, mate, and probably go with that. Otherwise, just sell Cunha, because Cunha's been rubbish. And I know you're a Man United fan, but so am I, and he hasn't been any good at all. But yes, that is the place where we've got to start. It's been the Phil Foden show the last 3 weeks. And my boy... all I can say is I'm super happy that he's in the team, and I'm super glad that he's going. FYI, everyone that's in the chat, welcome. Anyone that is wondering, when you're looking at that vote, I put up a vote, right? If I press the free hit button, I won't get any of the transfers I've made this week. They'll revert back. It'll be my game week 15 team back there. So I have Mbumo, Munoz, etc., all back in the team, Mateta as well. But I'll get my 5 free transfers back, which means I can then do Munoz to Tarkowski, Welbeck, instead of Welbeck for Mateta, it's probably play Mateta against Fulham and then move him to Bowen and 18. There's a lot of different things. So like when you're actively sitting there pressing your vote on the vote, please take the time to factor that into your decision. I want honest votes, not just what people think I should do. Put some thought in it. That's all I'll say. All right. So yes, on to the fixture difficulty rating. Now, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I've got Brentford top of the fixture ticker for the next couple of weeks. And close behind it is Fulham. I know I don't rate Fulham, right? And I legitimately believe this is probably a better fixture for Burnley than it is for Fulham. I really believe, and we'll get to my score predictions later, but I think Burnley beat Fulham because Fulham are no good. And I know that I can't believe that Anderson rose in price this week. How he is the 7th most transferred in defender is literally just the definition of insanity. I can almost guarantee he's going to get 3 points on the weekend. I just don't see any world where he does more than that. He's going to get DC, probably. Actually, he might not even get DC because Burnley don't do that much attacking. Inevitably, Fulham will find a way to concede and it'll probably be a Fleming penalty. And I'll be sitting there saying, I called it. The D-Unit called it. I'm telling you, he's not a good move. Not a good move. Here's the biggest trap. We'll get into that in a little bit. The other 2 teams I want to talk about, Man United, Liverpool. Now, we've seen Man United show up in games and then go completely no good in others. I've got some bad news. I love my stats, right, in terms of this kind of thing and football trivia, etc. Manchester United had played Bournemouth in December at home the last 2 seasons. I was there at the game last year. in December, Man United lost 3-0. I had to go back and check the year before. They also lost 3-0. So what are the odds of Man United actually turning that around? Also, we don't know, I'm going to get into the press conferences very shortly, but we don't know whether Mbumo, Ahmad and Mazraoui will even make the game, because Amram was very much like, well, it's up in the air, we don't really know, etc., etc. But yeah, I just think that I'm not sure the fixtures look as good as they are for Man United and Liverpool. I know that Liverpool have Wolves at home, and so do Man United, 18-19. That's the fixture you really want. But then I look at the other fixtures for Liverpool, I'm like, are they actually going to keep a clean sheet? Are they actually going to win those games of football? I'm not sure. And like, yeah, there's so many question marks there. I'm not sure what to think of it. All I know is that if you're playing Wolves at home, load up on that team, because if they don't spank them, there's something wrong with what they've done. So obviously, that's another reason why I'm also tempted by a free hit this week, is because then I get Petrovic back in goal for the Burnley at home fixture, and I dodge the Sanchez away at Newcastle, which all of a sudden looks a hell of a lot better, right? So there's lots of keys and conundrums. All these moving parts that go into whether I should free hit, whether I should just roll with the team. And yeah, it all comes down to the fixture difficulty rating. And at the moment, that's how I've got it. I'm just not sold on the teams I've actually got in the top four, like on the fixture ticker. I just don't know how much we can actually trust Brentford's defence, Fulham's defence, Man United's defence, Liverpool's defence. Will any of them actually keep a clean sheet this weekend? I would not be surprised if none of them did. That's all I'll say on it. That's the fixture difficulty rating for 16 to 21, and it is one of them things where I'm just sitting there going, I don't know which way it's going to go. So on to the hot off the press for Game Week 16, and let's start with Sunderland. As usual, Reynaldo has trained, so apparently he had some sort of an issue post last game week. But he should be okay. Diarra's not ready yet either, and I think if he's not ready, he's probably not going to AFCON. I'm assuming he's... And then, to be honest, lots of people talk about Sunderland going to get ravaged. It's not really any of their first team outside of Sadki, I think, that actually plays in the first team. It's a lot of reserves, so their bench depth and stuff like that's going to go down the gurgler, but in terms of their actual starting 11, they're not really that affected. On to Chelsea. Now, I love Maresca's press conferences. They always just wind me up, which is why I just don't like owning Chelsea players in general. So, Palmer obviously got rested midweek, but obviously he had a mixed feeling after training. Like, what does that even mean? A mixed feeling after training. Mixed feeling is in like, oh, he's sad that he missed the game in Europe and they lost and now they might have to play an extra 2 games in the playoff, or is it, oh, my groin doesn't feel right? Well, what does that actually mean, mixed feeling? I mean, come on, Maresca, turn it up. Fofana's obviously fine, apparently, which is interesting. Now, a Nightmare actually sent me some interesting stats before that apparently Chalobah plays way better when Fofana's not in the team. So maybe it's not a good thing that Fofana's available. I'm not sure, but I just thought it was really interesting. Apparently, in the games that Fofana's missed, Chalobah's racked up like 38, 39 points. So that's an interesting stat for you. Delap's going to be out for weeks, so you would think that JP's probably a lock. I mean, Mark Gui might actually get some points off the bench. That 1-pointer could be happening, who knows. And then he talked about Cucurella and Enzo and their resting, and I mean, it was typical bloody Maresca. What do you mean? Why would you be resting your players when you are sitting there? Like, Chelsea could be winning the league. Like, legitimately, they could be winning the league if Maresca stopped pissing around with the lineups and actually played a decent team. Chelsea fans must just be annoyed as what I am, trying to, like, read Maresca, when ideally I'd like Chelsea to win instead of Man City, instead of Arsenal, instead of Liverpool. So Man United aren't winning the league, so they're the next worst evil that you can pick. So, but Maresca just seems hell-bent on making sure they don't win. Maybe he's a City manager in disguise like Arteta is, and that way Man City they have these managers at the other Premier League clubs so they always win. I don't know. West Ham, Igor Julia is obviously ineligible because he's obviously playing against his parent club this weekend, so he can't play. Fabianski's hurt his back like me, so he's going to be on the bed, getting a bit of a massage. Skulls is back available as an option, and that's really good news because obviously they're about to lose Wan-Bissaka and Juve for AFCON, so Skulls should hopefully be able to take one of those spots. And then old mate Kyle Walker-Peters should hopefully be able to take the other. On to Burnley. Some actual news here. Medbury, Perez, Walker, they're all suspended. Walker picked up a 5th yellow, so that's unfortunate for him. The game might also come too quickly for Tuanzebe. So, I mean, Burnley's defence doesn't look overly good if you take out Walker and Tuanzebe. I mean, like, who's actually back there? It's Esteve and Edcow and whoever else they can muster up. Yeah. Leeds, Mchekia, he's been ruled out. He's going for scans, so that probably diminishes Leeds from an attacking perspective with him out. James and Longstaff obviously remain out as well, so that's something to keep in mind. On to Liverpool, and this is the big news here. Bradley's banned, so he's actually racked up 5 yellows. How? He's been injured for most of the season, I thought. But obviously every time he's played, he's picked up a yellow card, so he's suspended. Slot basically said he's going to talk to Salah. Maybe there's going to be a farewell game. Maybe there won't be. Who knows how the conversation's going to go. Can they repair it? My money is on Salah just leaving in January at this point. Also, there's an Isaac knock, and I'm aware that I spelled Isaac wrong there, so I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote that one out, but I did that poorly. He should be okay. And if he's okay, he talked about playing a front two again. If he's not, whatever. Chiesa, there was reports going around on social media that he didn't want to play because of the Salah treatment. Absolute nonsense. He was just ill and he's going to be back and available. And Gakpo and Endo are both injured. So if you've got either of them, and a lot of people do have Gakpo hoping for some big holes, he's not going to be around for the next couple of weeks, so he's a definite sell. On to Brighton. It's Matoma, Ayari. So Matoma's finally back. So he's joining Ayari, Milner and Watson. They're all back and available, and I don't know what that means for De Kuyper. Lots of people talked about him and sent me messages about the fact that, he could be a shout. If Matoma's back, I don't think De Kuyper's a shout at all, because I feel like the reason why he's been a shout is because Matoma's been out. That's just my gut feel. Tomiskas is also out for the season. So his knee injury was a lot worse than first feared. He's going to be gone for the season. And then the other guy, Kostelis or whatever his name is, apparently he might be getting a few more minutes, the other young striker. And March and Webster both remain out there. So some interesting news coming out of Brighton and Liverpool this week. So on to Crystal Palace. Now, the big news here, which obviously has affected my entire strategy, and Nightmare said, how can you let one player dictate what you're going to do with your team? I was like because I was relying on going to double Palace defence. That was the whole idea why I moved so early. I thought, Munoz will be fine. He'll be back and then we'll be laughing. Well, he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. So at the moment, I've taken a hit to remove him so I didn't lose team value overnight, and that was not ideal, obviously. But it was better news for Sarr and Mateta. Apparently, Sarr will be available for this game, as well as Mateta. Canvo actually missed the midweek fixture with illness, so he should actually be all right as well. So we should be pretty sweet there. On to Wolves. Bellegarde, 6 weeks out. I mean, Wolves can't afford anyone out, let alone Bellegarde, who's been one of their better players. So he's going to be out. Montesi and Gomez are out, and a bunch of others that no one really cares about. On to Bournemouth. Wolves are just done. All you need to know about Wolves is if a team is playing them, triple up on them, because they're going to destroy Wolves. Wolves are rubbish. I mean, Man United put 4 past them earlier this week, so that's all you need to know, really. Cook suspended. Senesi, apparently there's hope that he's going to be okay. So I thought he'd be cactus. I saw him go off last week and I thought he's going to be out. He's an easy sell. Well, apparently he's actually going to be okay. So he could be available. Doak and Christie are both out, injured, and Milojevic-Savic is out for a couple of months as well. On to Aston Villa, Martinez and Paul Torres. They are going to be assessed. They missed the European fixtures, so you'd imagine, who knows? Who knows? Probably they'll be fine. I'm just guessing at this point. Mings and Barkley, they're still out as well. So, I mean, no one's buying them. No one really cares about them either. On to Fulham now. Robinson's been training really well. It's just a matter of time deciding when he'll get minutes, when he'll actually make his comeback to actual live action. That's something also to keep in mind. And then Sessegnon and Muniz, remain out. So Sessegnon got a knock or some sort of injury. He got an injury. I don't know if it was a knock or a muscle injury. I kind of breezed over that bit, other than the fact that I read that Sessegnon is out and will miss this game. And then Muniz obviously is out until January, sometime around then. On to Spurs. Now, there's no fresh injury issues or news here. Everyone that was still out, that's Dominic Solanke, Kulusevski, Madison, etc., they're still out. Johnson obviously missed the midweek game through suspension in Europe, but he should obviously return for this game, you would think. And ironically, then the team they're playing, Nottingham Forest, there was no update on Sells. Sells obviously missed the game last night, as a precaution. I mean, surely no one has Sells anymore in their teams anyway, but maybe you do, I don't know. Maybe, as long as you got Dubravka, you're sweet anyway. Murillo, Luiz, Zinchenko and Bakwa, they all returned in the European fixtures, so they should all be fine. No one else is ready, so there's no Chris the Woody Woodpecker still, which is a damn shame because I love Chris the Woody Woodpecker, and I just feel like FPL's not the same this year because I can't just sit there and bang on about Chris Wood every single game week, and that feels like the game is missing something. So on to Man United, Sir Harry Maguire. I mean, what has he done? He's been out now for like what feels like a month, and De is also out. He's still going to be out, so that raises the possibility of Man United conceding 3 goals straight out the gate, because if Maguire's out, De out, there's the hideout of the team, and we know that Man United don't keep clean sheets regardless, so they're going to have to score at least 2 goals in order to beat Bournemouth, because they will concede. There is hopes, obviously, for Šeško to return here, but apparently he's had a bit of what I've had this week. I've had a bit of food poisoning, I think, or something earlier in the week, and apparently he's been suffering the same thing, so someone's obviously been trying to poison us. Maybe it's the cartel, who knows. Then the AFCON players, there's doubts. As I talked about at the very beginning during the fixture difficulty rating, apparently Mbumo, Ahmad and Mazraoui potentially might leave before Monday's... Because Man United play on Monday Night Football, that's putting their ability to compete at doubt for the Monday fixture, if that makes sense. Amram was very non-committal one way or the other, so I don't know what to think. Then we get on to the best press conference of the lot. I mean, who would want to be an Arsenal fan when your manager just spins absolute bollocks? Absolute bollocks. It's the best way to describe it. I mean, it wasn't a surprise. We knew Arteta was going to offer nothing, and he did exactly that. He offered absolutely crickets. He basically said, for Timber, Saliba, for Rice, Trossard, for want of a better term, he basically said, we will need to wait and see. That's essentially what he said for all 4 of them. Does that mean they're available? Who knows? Who actually knows? I would argue that Rice, if he's just been ill, unless he's had pneumonia, he should be sweet and available to play. That would be my guess. In terms of Timber, that was a knock. Now, if it was a knock, and like Calafiori also had a knock, and he was on the bench in the Champions League, Timber was not. Now, maybe that's because of the fact that Timber obviously can play in the Premier League and Calafiori suspended. But you'd think that he would have been at least on the bench, because he did travel from my understanding. I could be wrong. Someone correct me in the chat if I'm wrong about that. Saliba, I mean, he talked about it being a couple of days. Trossard, a couple of days. I mean, how long are a couple of days in Arteta's head? Is it a week? Is it a month? Who really knows? Everyone else, though, remains out. So no Havertz, no Gabriel. I'm missing a few, but they're no shows. Then on to Man City. Now, this gets next level. Just when you thought Arteta couldn't be bothered, well, Pep can't be bothered showing up. I mean, there was an issue. I'm not sure why. I'm probably making fun of something that might not actually be funny to make fun of. But Pep didn't show up. So Kolo Toure confirmed that John Stones, Kovacic and Rodri are out. And then basically did his best classic Pep show. Gave nothing away. Oh, we haven't seen the players yet. We'll have to wait and see how they train. Like, literally gave nothing away. It's like Pep Guardiola teaches everyone that's worked with him how to just sit there and just fluff a press conference and give no information away. Arteta, case in point. Maresca, pretty similar. Now I've got Kolo Toure doing the exact same thing. Thanks much, Pep. We love you. We love you. On to Newcastle. Now, I don't think he actually gave a press conference today. This was the one given after the Champions League. Now, Joelinton's got a groin issue. Potentially he might miss. Who knows? Botman, Trippier, Kraft, Osula and Pope all remain out. Whistle was ill, which is why he was only on the bench in the Champions League, and probably why he only came on for like the last 2 minutes of injury time or whatever it was that he actually came onto the field for. On to Everton. Branthwaite, Roll, they're both back on the grass, so that's not good news if you're a Keane owner, because I imagine that at some point Branthwaite will take Keane's spot. That would be my guess. How do I say this guy's name? Irugabongam and Gay, whatever you say his name. They both returned from suspension. One from the 3-game hitting Michael Keane in the face. The other one from 5 yellow cards, but they're both back. Coleman's obviously still out, so no good there. Brentford, the big news here, if you own Kevin Schade, he's suspended with his 5th yellow card of the season. That's the big news. Nelson should be available after obviously missing the game previously and having a knock against Spurs the other week. Otherwise, they're all good. So no real injuries there. Obviously, literally every AFCON player that's been picked by their countries will be leaving at the conclusion of game week 16. So you also have to factor that in as well. And yeah, I've just seen something from Ua in the chat. I'm glad I'm very glad to hear that actually. I can't believe we've already got it. That's fantastic. And I'm also glad that you enjoy it and like it. That's made my day. That's actually made my day. It's completely thrown me off kilter as well. So, on to the essentials of Game Week 16. And I think these three players are essential. Now, I've decided to change the buy, hold, sell a little bit to make it a little bit more interesting for people. So, every week, I'm going to have the three essential players that I think are essential for that game week. So, this week, for me, it's Thiago. Because the dude's only scored 4 goals less than Haaland now. He scored 11 goals. Haaland scored 15. The dude's playing Leeds at home, Wolves away in the next 2 weeks. He's going to be essential for Game Week 16 and Game Week 17. Like, there's no ifs, buts, maybes. He is essential. If you haven't got him in your team, 100%. That is the guy I would be buying more than anyone else. He's the one that needs to be in your team. Then it has to be Saka. Why? Because I think that realistically, he probably is a really good captaincy shout this week. I, at the moment, have Saka captain in my own team, regardless of whether I free hit or not. And I just think that I watched Wolves against Man United, and they were woeful. And now they've got Bellegarde less in that team. I just don't see a world where Wolves offer any resistance at all. And it's just a matter of how many goals Arsenal feel like scoring on the day. So for me, I would definitely be going with Saka. And then Chalobah. Now, some people will say, why is he essential? And I take your case on point, but I was looking for an essential defender. I was going for an essential forward, essential midfielder, and then looking for an essential defender. And he's the best one I can come up with. It would have been Timber, but we don't know whether Timber's going to make the game. So I know that Chalobah will play. Maresca pretty much confirmed that much in his press conference tonight, that Chalobah is literally going to be starting. And he's got attacking upside, as well as actually having the chance of scoring, keeping a clean sheet. So that kind of makes him essential, I think. And the next couple of fixtures, I wish I'd not sold him. That's all I'll say. And I think he's a really good defender. He should have been a season keeper, and I just cocked it up when I sold him instead of bloody Senesi that day. So the treats. We're going to start with the treats for this week. Bruno Fernandes is a treat. He's up to 9.1 million now, so he's quite an expensive treat. But the dude, he has been, that haul against Wolves has been coming for many weeks. Anyone that's owned Bruno Fernandes for a substantial amount of time like I have all season would know that Bruno Fernandes, that haul has been coming for a long time. He's been so close to dodging points. He just decided that he was going to do a Phil Foden against Wolves and absolutely battered the crap out of him and delivered 18 points. It was a magical display, unbelievably good stuff. Then Anthony Gordon. Now, the more I've looked into Gordon, and people say he's a penalty merchant, and yes, you're correct. The last 3 games, the only way he's got points is from the penalty spot, but he is on penalties, and he loves to play in December and into January. He has an amazing record. If you go back and have a look at his record last season, he literally returned in about 6 or 7, 8 games in a row. The dude I think he's going to be good. I just think that he's going to be good over this stretch of period. Then Vardiol. Now, lots of people talking about O'Reilly. I've obviously got O'Reilly myself, but if you've got the extra money, and a lot of people have Virgil van Dijk's in their team, I'm telling you, the best move you can make yourself this week is turfing that fraud out that apparently is meant to be some DEFCON daddy of a bullet header, can't deliver in any of those points, and bring in Vardiol, who 2 of the last 3 weeks, folks, has shown us that his bullet header is far superior to Virgil van Dijk's. Why? Because his has actually found the back of the net, which is why Vardiol is the treat this week in Game Week 16. So on to the traps, and I can't wait to talk about these 3. There's nothing I love more than having a discussion about 3 players that are just woeful in FPL. They play for teams that can't defend. And in the case of Mark Gui, is a spot where I can guarantee between now and game week 23, you will require that spot on your bench for something that happens, or be it a suspension, or either be a player that misses out through rotation, just doesn't show up for the midweek game, and you're going to have the amazing Mark Gui coming off for either a 0-pointer or a 1-pointer, and it's just a trap. It is a trap. There is no way that player should be in anyone's team. The fact he is like now the 6th most transferred in forward this week actually blows my mind, let alone Anderson. Now, we don't need it. How he is in the top 7 bought defenders this week makes no sense. No sense. I mean, Fulham, on average, I mean, they kept 5 clean sheets last season. They might actually beat it this year. They might get a few more. But I'm telling you, Burnley away, they're not keeping one. Are they going to keep one at home to Nottingham Forest? I'm not so sure they do. Then obviously I think it's Leeds away the next game after that. I don't see them keeping a clean sheet in the next 3 games, which is why people are buying him. So you're looking at then a maximum potential of 3 to 4 points. He's not scoring ahead. He hasn't scored ahead. He hasn't got an assist in like 2 years in FPL. Like if you go back and look at the last time he had got an attacking return, it was at a substantially very long time ago. And then we got Virgil van Dijk. I mean, the one thing I'll say is a lot of people are waking up. Even Kanji is cooking. He's a Liverpool fan. He's been banging on about the Virgil bandwagon for what feels like weeks in our WhatsApp group. And he sold him. He sold him. And I was like, God, if a Liverpool player is selling Virgil van Dijk, that's all you need to know about whether he is a good asset to buy or not. He's 6 million overrated. He's going to drop in price tonight because he's crap and he plays in a crap defence. Liverpool still don't know how to defend. I don't see that improving anytime soon whatsoever. That's my rant over. These 3 traps, if you want to buy them, by all means, but you'll not have my blessing because it just makes no sense to me on any single level. So, are you feeling lucky this week? Now, these players, I think, have all got possibilities of going big. They might go small. They could go nuclear. I don't know. But if you want a real rough shout, obviously we're going to cover my one-week punts very shortly. But Fleming from Burnley, I mean, when you've got Fulham playing you at home, you're almost expecting to score goals. So what better place to go to than the bloke that's on penalties for Burnley playing a Fulham team that just is rubbish at defending? I really like Fleming. I feel like if you threw that out this week and put like a tenner on Fleming to score, I reckon it comes in because I'm pretty confident Fulham concede in that game. I just don't see him keeping a clean sheet. Dango Itara could go massive. Gyökeres could go massive. I mean, like all these players in theory could go massive this week. Like they're all decent picks in their own right. It's just a matter of whether the dice falls your way, whether the card says yes, whether it says no, etc., etc. These are the players that legitimately I think can bang this week, and they're not going to be high owned. They are the differentials. They're the punts in the dark. They're the ones that come in. They're the ones that sit there and either turf your rank or they boost it through the roofs. That's pretty much what it is. I just seen someone say proper frying session. I was cooking those 3 fulls, that's for sure. All right, so my best 1 week punts this week, and I've gone for 4 different teams. You'll notice I've gone for an Arsenal defender because I tell you what, if Arsenal somehow manage to screw up the clean sheet against Wolves, I will legitimately, if I can send any more memberships this weekend, if Arsenal cock up that clean sheet, I will gift whatever memberships YouTube allows me to do. Because I just don't see it happening. And I think that Ben White will play it right back. And if he's playing it right back, he's going to be wandering forward every left, right and centre. And I can just see mad returns. Like I could see an attack. I could see a 15-pointer for Ben White this week comfortably. Like that's how bad I think Wolves are. I think the clean sheet, he's on a minimum of at least 6 points before the game even starts. it's just a matter of whether he can get an attacking return. If he can get an attacking return, it's going to be huge. Then in the midfield, I've gone with 2 real punts, right? So 1.9% ownership. In fact, he's gone up post-hand because I made this earlier in the week. And Dango Itara as well, his ownership would have gone up as well with the free hitters. But those 2 could go absolutely nuclear this weekend. I mean, Dango's won the most penalties of any player in European football this season, which is just ridiculous when you think about that. So that's obviously why Thiago's also such a good pick. And then Wilson, I mean, his last 4 weeks have been through the roof. Like I think, I'm not even doing him a disservice. It might be his last 6 weeks. Like he's got 7 attacking returns. So has Dango Itara. Nice fixtures on paper. I've got no problem with Fulham scoring goals. It's just them not conceding any. That's the issue I've got with them. And then I've gone with Fleming. Why? Because he's playing Anderson. And any team that's playing Anderson, load up on their forward, they will score goals. So I'm backing in Fleming at 5.3 million to deliver a huge amount of points this week. I think he's going to be great. And I'm telling you, I'm actually confident. Like the last couple of weeks, I've been very close to getting 4 from 4. This week, I legitimately believe no one's going to have these 4 players in their team, like all 4 in one team, But I'm telling you, all 4 of these blokes are going to return this week. I could just feel it. So my Game Week 16 captains, who are the top 8 players that I've got for you this week? And look, they're very similar to last week, except obviously there's no Welbeck, there's no Mateta, and there's obviously no Liverpool player. I think it was Gakpo or whoever I had them there. So we've got Semenyo. I actually think that this could be a week where Semenyo goes big because Man United can't defend. He's going to be playing. I mean, if he plays on the right, he's going to destroy Dalot like it's just a biblical. He's just going to destroy. It doesn't matter where he plays. He's probably going to have a good night out at Old Trafford because Man United suck when we play at home against Bournemouth. They literally score goals for fun. Now, I put Mbeumo and Bruno in, and I'd actually have them as Bruno 7th spot and Mbeumo 8th spot. I'd have the other 6 blokes in front of them this week. I know that Man United are at home, and in theory, Bournemouth haven't been playing that well away from home. But if you've watched Man United the last 2 games at home against West Ham and Everton, it's not been a team that fills me with any confidence at all. So I think that Bournemouth potentially, I mean, I wouldn't surprise me if they got another 3-0. That's just the way it is. Saka, obviously, I think that he personally is the best player to captain this week. But like when you look at points per game, he's actually coming in at 5th. Like Thiago is averaging 5.3 points per game. Semenyo and Foden are both averaging 5.9. In fact, it's actually at 6th because Bruno's averaging now 5.7. This is how good Phil Foden's hot streak is because 3 game weeks ago, his average points per game was like 3. And now it's literally the second highest on this list. That's the form the man is in. I know he got a little bit of a rest in Europe along with Haaland. So maybe they can really take full advantage of that Palace lineup. Maybe they should actually be the top. I'm not sure. I still think that it's that Wolves fixture. And the Wolves fixture at home. I mean, Saka probably doesn't have to play more than 60 minutes to probably get a huge score against him. And that's the appeal of him. I do understand. I actually am tempted by Haaland captain because I feel like a lot of engaged managers will be going to Saka as well. So it might be one of them ones where it's going to be a little bit more even and across the board than what we kind of used to. And then Dango and Thiago. I mean, they're such good punts. Like they've got Leeds at home. Leeds have the 5th worst underlying defensive data in the league. And they're away from home, which means they'll be even worse. Like at home, Leeds are a different prospect. Away from home, they're pretty much rubbish from a defensive standpoint. So you would expect and probably bet on Dango and Thiago going massive. Now, other players you could consider, Minte, Ekitike, Cunha, Isaac, Gordon, Rice, Welbeck. I mean, you could go there if you wanted to, but I just don't think that they come inside these top 8. I've got 5 of them in my team as things stand, even though I'm not on free hit. I don't have Semenyo, I don't have Mbeumo, and I don't have Dango. And literally, I feel like I could pick any one of them, and probably knowing my luck, I'll get a blank, but I guarantee the other 4 will probably haul. Like, that's how confident I'd be on the captains coming in this week. I think it's pretty close, to be fair. I don't think there's going to be a hell of a lot between Saka and Haaland, but you might get lucky, and it could be a massive swing, or it could just be a dead heat. And they both blank. Who bloody well knows? So flop and star of the week time. And look, it was me. I mean, I've owned Phil Foden the last 3 weeks. And yes, I've owned him. 44 points in the bag. But how good would it have been if I just captained him the last 4 weeks? Because I've captained Bruno Fernandes for 4 points and 2. I've triple captained Haaland for 4 points. Because obviously he got 2 tripled to 4. And then obviously captained him again for 2. If I just sat there and captain Foden the last 3 weeks, I'd actually be inside the top million teams. Like, that's how much of a difference it would have meant. I would have triple captained Foden. I would have got 45 points instead of the 6 I got from Haaland. I then would have captained him for the 17 instead of the 4 from Bruno. And then I would have captained him for the 12 instead of Haaland's 2. So that's on me. I'm just an idiot. I just need to sit there and back in my boy or whatever punt I actually really believe in rather than just sitting there doing stupid stuff and going down the garden path. The star, though, Bruno G. How good did I call that? I bought him for the Tottenham game, came off the bench 7 points, then he gets 10 points. I mean, how he scored directly off a corner, I do not know. And that in itself was exceptionally lucky. But sometimes you've got to take your luck. And it's been pretty much dodging me most of the season. But that Bruno G moment was special because, like, I feel like my midfield has just been banging. Like, I said that I wanted to go back to a 3-5-2, and the midfielders have been doing the job. Like, I've literally sat there and said the points are in midfield, And the points for my team in particular have been in midfield. So I kind of want to keep that run going. And obviously I've sold him. Like, I've sold him because I just don't think... The two fixtures I really wanted him for were Spurs and Burnley. And I don't want him back until the next Burnley game because I think the next 3 games are going to be pretty hard for Newcastle. So that's... I mean, I made some money, but he's going up again in price, which is just insane. And I'm like, maybe I want him back because then I've actually made some money. I don't know. It's one of them things. We're going to look at my team a little bit. So it's time to get into the chat. Let me know who you captained last week. Were you one of the sheep like me and went with a Haaland captain on the left? Or did you hold faith after Bruno did nothing at home against West Ham and went back to Bruno for the 18-point haul? Now, I know that Zygel did because I remember him joining the live watch along on Monday, and that was biblical. But now's the time to get in what you just want to sit there and rant about. Just whatever you want to talk about in the chat, put it in. This is your moment to just sit there and go, I can't believe that person's injured. I can't believe I bought Gakpo. Then he got injured. I bought Munoz and then I had to sell him. I wasted 2 transfers. Let me know what your bad things are. And hello to everyone in the chat. I'm just catching up on now. I'm going to go run through your questions as well. Good to see Rahi in the chat, Ur in the chat. Lots of my mods in the chat. Great to see. Chill 20. Luke's in the chat as well. I've got a special bit for Luke later on, so he better not bloody well leave. And it's going to be pretty good. Wow, there's been a lot of comments. Wow, you guys are going to keep them coming in. Keep them coming in. Also, the free hit at the moment, 63% instead of the hit. So that's almost 2 in every 3 people think that I should free hit instead. Interesting. 5 transfer bomb. I know, I could 5 transfer bomb next week. 100%. Yeah, Murat, I thought you'd like that picture. I mean, you can thank Luke for that. He was the one that created it. Afternoon, Peter. Good to see you in the chat, buddy. The late mail's cooking today. They could be anyone. It sound like players, but they could be. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. I like that. I do try my hardest on these things. If you haven't already joined the WhatsApp chat, fantastic merch. One time, I need a hoodie. I need to buy one of my own hoodies. Well, not yet because it's summer here. I need to get a few more singlets, but all mine are in the wash, which is why I'm wearing this tank top thingamajiggy at the moment. All right, let's have a look. We'll go into your questions now really quickly. Proper frying session it was. I have Juan Pedro, don't hate me. Bet responsibly, yes. Don't take my advice. I'm just saying if I was a betting man based on my thoughts, not actually putting money on it myself. Wolves will get a 1 sneaky goal. Yeah, that would be interesting. That would definitely be interesting. We all love a narrative. We definitely love a narrative. No betting now, Murat. Save it for later. Food will be huge this week, I agree. I'm here for some classic D-Unit. Don't want you bottling a free hit. More Haalands this week, sucker as well. Buy some amazing D-Unit merch. I'm glad that it looks so good. I keep, because it's in the UK, it costs a fortune to send out here. So I haven't actually got any of that myself. I've actually sourced my own stuff made over here in Australia, which I don't know if it's as good a quality, but I'm hoping it is. Also, yes, FYI, this is a really good time. If you haven't already, please smash a like on the stream. Help us get it out there. If you can go and share it on X, if you've got an X account as well. Also, hit me up and follow me and tag me in it as well. Paid my bench boost, just needs Senesi to play. Very nice. I think he might. All right, Lo, on to the second bit. The pubcast. Now, obviously, I did a video. For anyone that hasn't watched it at the moment, I've actually done a video with Nightmare. It came out this week. It was 2 hours of just me talking about the fact that I just don't believe in models at all. And I literally just work off my own working. I literally use, I've been quite open about this. The only things I use when it comes to FPL, I follow live FPL because I've got the app and I check that for price rises. That's the only bit of information that I gain off anywhere, and obviously to check my rank like during the game week. That's it. That's the only 2 things I use from any given website outside of the FPL one. Now, all my stats, everything I put together is all my work and off the FPL website. And I don't use any other stats that you can't find anywhere else because I don't believe in anyone charging for stuff that should be free to everyone and you shouldn't need to go anywhere, which is why I never ever talk about stuff like that, and that's why we offer a free WhatsApp group, because we don't charge. We're not Big Man Bakar who sends £120 to be in his WhatsApp group. You can come and talk to me for free. Probably have more fun as well. Sorry, Big Man Bakar, but time to grow up, mate. That's it. You're ripping people off and it's not on. So on to last week. Somehow Kanji won with Gordon. I didn't realize that Gordon got so many bonus points for just scoring a penalty. But he got 10 points. He's up to 19 points overall. Obviously, my Mason Mount call came in. He obviously scored 7 points. I'm leading all comers through the first 4 weeks of doing this. I'm up to 28 points, which means I'm averaging 6.5. Oh, sorry, no, that's not correct. I'm averaging 7 points a game week from the differential I'm picking. Like, I'm literally sitting there nailing these week to week. Gary obviously got Raul with 5 points. Nightmare had Cunha, he got 5 points. Gary's in second place now overall, 20 points. Kanji's in the third. Trig picked Isaac. Don't know why. The dude's a fraud. Trig's not a fraud, but Isaac's a fraud. He's now dropped a few places. He's in the 16 points overall. Nightmare's obviously on 13 and 5th. And then the Roberto kind of cheated, picked James, who was massively over 5%, but I allowed it because I'm kind, and I saw that he was miles behind and thought we need to throw a dog a bone and hope that he stays on board. So he's on 10 points with James's 6. And let's have a look at the picks we're going for this week. So again, I've got the wrong one. That's not correct. I put the wrong one in. All right, ignore that. I don't even know who's anyone's got, except I've got to bang and play this week. I mean, Mason Mount could return again. I've got Dango Otara. That's all you need to know. D-Unit's winning it this week. I've cocked that up. That should be number 16. I definitely downloaded it. I don't know why I put 15 there instead. I've made an absolute meal of that. All you need to know, Dango Otara this week is going to beat the rest. I don't even know who the rest got. Roberto's got bloody Traore, some weird Traore. Nightmare's got, I don't even know who he's got. Someone. I actually can't remember who they've got. But either way, I'm surprised no one picked Anderson, because half this lot love Anderson, and I'm surprised that he's not in there. So on to the memes of the week, and this is the time. Where's Luke? Is Luke in the... there he is. There he is, folks. Now, sometimes you sit there and you get a little bit ahead of yourselves, right? So Timu Jesus went very early, basically saying he was beating Nightmare after the first game. Now, I didn't want to sit there and do that because we all know the D-Unit picked Haaland captain last week and he blanked. So, obviously, you know, Haaland blanked and Foden banged, and I was like, oh yeah, D-Unit called it. Foden, 3 returns in a row. Then the Bruno G returned, and I was like, oh, well, we're on here, boys. I reckon Luke's in a bit of trouble. I reckon he's going to be floundering. And then I was like, I got to Monday night, and I was like, I remember doing the live watch along on Sunday. Luke was basically sitting there going, you know, oh, I reckon I could be all right here. I could come in. I was like, I'm telling you, baby, Man United double up is going to bring it home for the D-Unit. And my God, did Brian and Pumo and Bruno Fernandes basically rolled up and went, Luke, absolutely battered him. Completely destroyed his rank. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant to see. And it's got to be said, Luke, you do many things for me. You put all this stuff together, and a lot of the graphics that I get are literally inspired by Luke and me putting it in there. But my God, I have to bake you because you got smashed, mate. You got smashed by the D-Unit, and it felt good. Then there's Murat, obviously, there with his little spreadsheet, putting together everyone's score predictions. And then D-Unit and Foden just, I don't know what that was meant to be. Luke made that, and I was like, I don't know what you're trying to say here, but I whacked it in anyway because I felt bad about taking him to town about the fact I beat him. Then obviously what the Arsenal crumble, and maybe this is the beginning of the inevitable Arsenal crumble that we see every year. Then there's me and Phil Foden in the club, but a bit more legit. That's actually me. I'm not altered there. Then obviously Slot looking for Jacob Murphy to pair with Isaac. I mean, the Isaac bit was slightly cut off there. And then also, happy birthday to Dr. Truz. He's a Liverpool fan. And Luke did a very nice thing. And I'm doing a very nice thing by sharing it. That was a shirt. That was a photo with no shirt on. And he's put a Liverpool shirt on me. So, well done, Dr. Truz. He must be a Liverpool fan. Otherwise, I don't know why we did it. But I'm assuming that's what we did. And yeah, all you need to know from this graphic this week is D-Unit absolutely battered Luke. That's all you need to know. Duda he showed up for the D-Unit. He did not show up for the Luke. So on to the thing you can be the D-Unit League. And guys, I'm inside the top 900 teams. The comeback is on. The comeback is on. Am I going to get anywhere near the top? Probably not, considering I'm now 239 points behind. But that's neither here nor there. I'm inside the top 900 teams in the league. So that's the first time that's happened all season. So that feels pretty good. Obviously, the A team is still killing it. He's still on top, 1,036 points. He's number 12 in the world. Henry, I still need you to send me a message, mate. So if you're watching this back, and you must watch some of my stuff because or else you wouldn't be in the league, please send me a message. We would love to get you on. I would love to get you on a late mail. I think you'd be great fun because if you're number 12 in the world, you must be a bit like me, taking mad picks and going differential captains, and that's what we're here for. Unfortunately, the lowest score, 1905, 32 points. Didn't even take a hit. He just got 32 points. He's had a mare. Sorry, Leon. That's just not acceptable. The manager might be up for sacking if you continue with that approach, particularly when you're not taking any hits. I mean, turn it up, mate. And then bench disaster. I mean, Corbai's voodoo. I mean, if you're going to call your name Corbai's voodoo and you get voodooed with 31 points on your bench, I don't know who else you're trying to kid here. But you probably voodooed yourself. Unlucky Corby, 31 points on the bench. That sucks. Sharpest trader, Verts of Times. Nice name. Well done, Philip. 30 points from his moves. He gained 30 points from his moves. I mean, he must have obviously bought in. I know who he bought in. He probably made 2 moves. He probably took out 2 fools that didn't play. And he probably brought in Bruno Fernandes for 18 points and Phil Foden for 12 and followed the D-Unit master plate. Well done. Onto the hit hero, Verts Donut. I mean, this guy did the Nightmare Special. He did a Nightmare Special. He took a minus 12. Obviously, he didn't get plus 28 points. He got plus 16. But he took a minus 12 and ended up with 16 more points than what he would have if he hadn't have taken the minus 12. I mean, that is the definition of doing a Nightmare play and winning. Last Nightmare doesn't do the winning when he does it. He ends up doing the losing. Onto the No Chip Warrior. Reaper, 86 points, no chip played. That was a fantastic score. I mean, I would have gone close if I'd not captained Haaland, but I captained Haaland, and that's my own fault. Onto the One Move King, Palestine FC, plus 15 points from his one move. Now, I was trying to work out who got plus 15 points on the weekend, but what I could think of is that maybe he had a player that got 3 points, and then he brought in Bruno Fernandes who got 18, which would be a difference of 15. That's the only way I could work it out because I didn't. There might have been someone that got 15 points. I'm just obviously forgetting them. And then Transfer Tango, I mean, Bubba's Dons, unlucky. You took a hit and you were down 19 points on your moves. I mean, that's never ideal. Taking is Kyle. Now, Kyle joins every deadline stream. He's also in the live watch-longs. So well done, Kyle. Also, I didn't have the heart to tell Luke this because I only noticed really late on, but he's actually got the wrong trophy and he sent me the wrong one. It's just a torching Luke session tonight, isn't it? Anyways, it's neither here to there. Ergo FC, Kyle's been picking mad captaincy shouts all season long, and they've literally been coming in. So if you want to work out who's going to bang as a captain, come to the deadline stream, ask Kyle. Whoever Kyle seems to captain generally pops off more weeks than not. And again, 87 points is a very nice score there. So well done to Kyle, who is the manager for game week 15. So on to my score predictions now for game week 16, and let's get through these and how I envisage the games going. So I hope Murat's got his bloody Excel spreadsheet open at the moment because I'm hoping you're writing these down so I don't have to send them to you later. So I'm going a 2-0 Chelsea win over Everton. I'm cooking with the Chelsea defence with some luck. I don't know if I will or not. Liverpool, are going to get a win. Don't know how, but I think Brighton score, and I think it'll be 3-1, something like that. Burnley, I've got Burnley beating Fulham 2-1. Yeah, I know. I can't believe it. People are going, are you kidding me? No, I'm not kidding you. Fulham are one of the worst defences in the league. They're definitely conceding to Burnley. 3-0 Arsenal over Wolves. I don't think it's going to be quite the battering that we might expect. I think the Arsenal will probably put the queue in the rack and they'll do their normal game style, which is just suffocate the opposition. They'll ride out for an easy 3-0 win. I'm also going for an easy win for Man City away at Crystal Palace. I think they'll win that game 3-0 as well. And that's why I think there's not much between Haaland, Foden and Saka and that this week. I just don't think there's going to be much between it. I think they're going to be pretty even in points. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going for a Spurs 2-1 win against Nottingham Forest based on nothing. I've got nothing for you. I've got no reasoning behind that prediction other than the fact that I was just being lazy. And the 1-2 was already there, and I had no thoughts on the game. I thought these are two teams that I don't really care about. Two teams that I think are pretty rubbish, and I'm going to leave the score as is. That's why I've gone with 1-2. There you go. Sunderland versus Newcastle. I think Sunderland do them. They've been waiting a long time for this derby, 9 years, I believe. And I think Sunderland will do them at home. I think Newcastle will pay the price for being in Europe yet again. And their home form in the Premier League's been poor. And I just think Sunderland are going to be well up for it, well rested. And I reckon Newcastle are going to run out of legs. And I reckon they lose that 2-1. West Ham versus Aston Villa. I think West Ham will score. I've actually got Jarrod Bowen scoring, and I think he'll score. Aston Villa, I think, will win that game 2-1. Brentford versus Leeds, I'm going a 3-0 win. I just think Brentford will wipe the floor of Leeds. I don't think Leeds are as good as Liverpool made them out to be last weekend. And I know that they obviously beat Chelsea at home the midweek, and I think Beresca bottled that. And I know they scored a couple of goals against Man City. I just think that Brentford's underlying defensive day is actually the 5th best in the league. And I just think this is why I bought Van den Berg. I'm backing in why I bought him. And then Man United versus Bournemouth. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm actually going for a Bournemouth 3-0 win. Now, obviously I went for a Wolves 1-0 win the last game week. So hopefully it's a bit of reverse psychology and Man United do the opposite and we win 3-0. But I was at this game at Old Trafford last season, and Man United play quite often how they play at home, and they shipped 3 goals to Bournemouth. And I think Bournemouth will be a bit more clinical. That's just my gut feel. I hope I'm completely wrong on that last one, and I hope I'm bang right with the rest. But yeah, I just think that every time I predict United to win, we don't. So if I keep predicting that we're not going to win, maybe we'll keep on winning. We'll have to wait and see. So my hot takes for this week. My gut feel today is that I almost want to back in my original plan and just take a hit. Legit, I'll probably do whatever the card rolls in a minute. We're going to get to the cards decisions and the random questions I got this week. And I'll probably do whatever the cards tells me because I literally have it at about 50-50. I could easily I could easily free hit and I could easily take a hit. I don't know which one's the correct answer. I actually sit there and look at my team and I go, we'll look at my team in a second and we can discuss a bit more. Games might not go as we expect this game week. I legit think there's going to be... I feel like lots of people are expecting Fulham and Liverpool to win. I'm not 100% sure they do. I actually think Burnley will win. And I think other results might not be... Like West Ham versus Aston Villa. I feel like lots of people are thinking that's just a Villa banker. I don't think it's a Villa banker. So I wouldn't be surprised if it goes on again. Monday night will be a bonanza of points again. I reckon I've got a sneaky suspicion, one way or the other, it's either going to be bonanza points for Bournemouth assets, bonanza points for everyone, or bonanza points for Man United. I think there's going to be big scores in that game. The Saturday watch-along will be outscored by the Sunday watch-along by at least 3 goals. Oh, sorry, not 3 goals, by at least 3 times. There's obviously 2 games at the 3 p.m. game and then the late one, whereas on Sunday there's 4. So I'm backing in there'll be twice as many goals, maybe even 3 times as many goals as on the Sunday watch-along. Fulham will be disappointing, as I predict. I just think they'll be rubbish, and I'm pretty confident in that assessment. Sunderland and Newcastle will be feisty. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some red cards in that game. Who is it for? I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of cards thrown around there because it's the first time it's happened in a long time, and I think it'll be, yeah. Also, I actually think this is the 4th game week in a row that Phil Foden's got to go nuclear and score a boatload of points. Don't know why. The dude's just running hot. And when that dude runs hot, he goes on purple patches that no one else really does. So this is the free hit draft I would be going to if I do free hit. So I'm just going to sit there and we'll look at it, right? So I had to include my boy DCL Unit on the free hit draft. There's no Anderson. Don't believe in Anderson. He doesn't get a look into my team. I know we'll talk about the cards team in a minute. And that was a very dodgy decision. I had to ask it a couple of times, but that's a sneak peek for what's coming in a couple of minutes. But I just think this is where I would go. Double Arsenal defence, triple Chelsea defence. I'm literally stacking in defence and hoping it comes in. Because if I somehow get a Chelsea clean sheet and an Arsenal clean sheet, I'm literally going to be on a big fat green arrow. That's the best way of describing it. That's just what's going to happen, right? Then obviously we've got the punts. We've got the Odango punt, who I think will be really good. Thiago as well. We've got the Saka captaincy. We've got Phil Foden and Haaland as a double up. And we've got Bruno because it's Bruno and he's probably going to do something. You can make a case that maybe you should bench Bruno for Wilson or for the DCL unit or for someone else. I don't know. But in reality, I just think that that's where I would go. I know I've got Leno in goal. I just whacked in an expensive goalkeeper that I could afford. So but that's why he's in there. I really should just put Dean Henderson because I shouldn't put Leno because Leno's definitely going to be conceded. Maybe he saves a penalty. Maybe that's why I've got him in there. I don't know. But either way, he's not going to be needed. This is where I think I will go if I free hit. Like to this team. Pretty much player for player. I don't think there's any risk that any of them don't start, which is what you want. Actually, there could be a risk that Kukurea doesn't start. That's definitely possible. So then you are getting Wilson off the bench. So I'm quite happy with that, to be honest with you. I don't mind Wilson coming off the bench. Actually, it'll be DCL unit. I need to adjust that. I need the Wilson show to come on, the DCL unit to drop back to number 2. I think that's probably what I need to do. If I end up going this way. If the card decides to go with a free hit, I think that's where I'm going. This is not a review draft. I'm telling you, I've literally sat there and just came up and was like, do I want double Arsenal attack? And I was like, you can't tell Arteta how many minutes they're going to get. At least with the defense, you know that they're going to get 6 points. Like, it's a bit of a no-brainer. I actually weighed up just getting triple Arsenal defense and just bidding Saka off completely, which also I think is a possibility. You could literally play a back 5. You could literally play triple Arsenal, triple Chelsea, and then the rest. Like, it's possible. You could definitely do a 5-3-2 or a, I don't know. I just think there's points in midfield, and I think Dango's going to bang. I think all 4 midfielders are going to bang. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. I also think Wilson will bang. I feel like every player that I've picked is going to bang. So it's one of them weird ones. The only one I've got no confidence in banging are Leno and DCL unit. They're the 2 that aren't banging. Everyone else is definitely banging. So that's what something along those lines. I might even do a couple more wild punts if I actually go through with a free hit. Because I made this for like everyone, right? Like, but I think if I owned the team myself, I'd like to go a little bit spicier. Like Lewis Skelly, I think I might include just for the attacking upside. I don't know. But I think I'd go something like that. I think I'd stack on 2 defences and just hope they both get clean sheets. Because if they do, you're already pretty much guaranteed a green arrow. But this is what the team looks like at the moment. So at the moment, I've actually taken a -4. So I've made 6 moves in my own team, right? This is what it looks like as things stand. I've got not Callum Wilson. I've got Harry Wilson in. I've got Sanchez and Chalobah in. I've got Saka in. And I've got Tarkowski and Welbeck in. And you're probably like going, why the hell did you take a hit to get Munoz out for Tarkowski when you weren't going to play him anyway? And that is a very good question. And the answer is I don't really have an answer as to why I did a hit, other than the fact that I looked at it and I looked at what I want to do the next couple of weeks. So ideally, I don't need him for the next 2 weeks. But I wanted to get his price. Like, he's going to rise in price. He was at 5.4. He'll be 5.6 by the time game week 18 comes around because lots of people will move there. I can guarantee it. So that's kind of the reason why I did it. And also the fact that if I free hit, it's going to mean nothing anyway. It's going to revert back to what it was before, and then I can just bring him in for Munoz regardless. But the reason why I sat there and did it is because in game week 18, I'm probably going to free hit, or game week 19. It's going to be either game week 18 or 19. It's probably 19 actually, because in 18, I would already have Tarkowski, and that's obviously the fixture I really want him for. That's the Burnley fixture. And then obviously the move in would be to get Jared Bowen in for Welbeck in game week 18. I'm going to need a transfer for that. And then also I want to kind of get Kevin Dewsbury Hall for Wilson in that game week as well. So I need 2 transfers, and Tarkowski would be a hit regardless between now and game week 18. So I figured it was better to get him cheaper, take the hit now, than wait till game week 18 when he's risen in price and I take the hit then. That's why I did the hit. So that hopefully makes a bit more sense. That's the team I'd be just locking in, like for next week. Like the team next week actually doesn't look too bad. Arsenal assets obviously go away to Everton. The City assets obviously play West Ham, which beautiful fixture. The Chelsea ones, I'm probably going to play for Bruggen in goal with Sunderland at home if I went that way. Sanchez, obviously, we turf him out. The thing is that obviously I'd be coming back to Petrovic in goal if I just free hit, and he's got Burnley at home. So that there's appeals to free hitting because I don't really want Saka post this week. I just really wanted him this week. Wilson, I'm not fussed about. I could keep him, I could lose him, whatever. Apparently, without Iwobi, Fulham's attacking assets and that are just really rubbish as well. Also, I've become aware, because Luke has finally alerted me to this, that Kevin Dewsbury Hall is actually not Kevin, it's Kieran. But for one of the better terms, I just like to think of him as the poor man's KDB. So for me, in my head, he's always just going to be Kevin. So lucky Dewsbury Hall, you're Kevin Dewsbury Hall, because the D-Unit said so. If you've got an issue, send it up, take it up on my management. But otherwise, you can make a case that both teams look good. Like, I'd obviously be coming back to Mbumo. So Mbumo, instead of going to Saka, I don't even know where I'd send Mbumo, is the honest answer. Obviously, I wouldn't buy Welbeck. I'd just buy Bowen straight out the gate for Mateta, but I'd probably play Mateta against Leeds. I don't know. So like, there's things that I'd do differently if I had the 5 free transfers back, which is why I'm just going to leave it to the card. Because I can make a case for free hitting and I can make a case for keeping the team. Both have their merits. Both probably get green arrows, to be fair. But I just don't know. I don't know. So keep your votes coming in. At the moment, free hit's got 64%. So that's interesting in and of itself as well. But yeah, that's the team as things stand. And at the moment, I haven't pressed free hit. I've literally got a -4 in my team at the moment. And I've made 6 moves. It's hard to believe. You get given 5 free transfers and I've taken a hit. You couldn't make this stuff up. The only person to do it is D-Unit, because I'm an idiot. All right, so the card calls for Game Week 15. Now start getting your card calls in the chat, because I will be covering them very shortly. And we'll finish up with a question and answer section. I am aware that this has gone a lot longer than normal, so I've obviously got a lot to talk about and discuss. So card calls, Game Week 15. Absolutely nailed it. The only ones that I got wrong, obviously, were, well, Minte versus Welbeck and Timber versus Munoz, which were bugger all. So Minte outscored Welbeck by a point. Timber obviously outscored Munoz by 3. But the card got all the big ones right. It got Bruno Fernandes over Cunha, huge swing there. It got the Foden captain over Haaland captain, huge swing there. The card trolls me. Every time I go with the card, it stuffs me. Every time I go against it on captaincy, I've just removed captaincy this week. Sick of asking it. No, I haven't actually. I've whacked it in there again. It's going to troll me again, I can guarantee it. DCL unit smashed Mo Salah. Bruno G didn't quite smash Gordon, but he beat him. Burn versus Van Heck. Obviously, Burn was pretty good there, but it was pretty close. And then O'Reilly obviously smashed Aït-Nouri because Aït-Nouri didn't play. So there you go. So yeah, that was pretty good there. On to the card calls for the masses last week. It even had a good calling on that. Lacroix versus Gahey. It called Gahey. What happened? Gahey won. Gordon versus Welbeck. Gordon won. Bruno G hit versus not having him. The Bruno G hit definitely paid off. Woltemata versus Mateta. I mean, that was a dead heat. They both finished on 2 points. Strand Larson, I had to go back and check this. Strand Larson beat Joshua Zirkzee by a point. So Strand Larson got booked, played 60-odd minutes, whatever it was. Zirkzee came off the bench and got booked, so he got a 0-pointer. So how the card called that, I've got no idea. Semenyo obviously beat Mateta by a point. It did get Bruno G versus Sade horribly wrong, and it also got Ramsdale versus Verbruggen slightly wrong. So they can't all quite be forgiven, but it was pretty good across the board in Game Week 15. What can it deliver for the masses and me in Game Week 16? So let's have a look at the cards team. So in case anyone knows, earlier this week, I flipped the card and I asked the card, do you want to play a free hit? Because I looked at the cards team and thought, this team needs a free hit. And the card landed on free hit. So then we just started going, and I can't believe it, because I sit there and I say, like, I literally just throw up like 2 assets in a row, and then we go through them until like the card, the amount of flips that came up with this, pretty bad. Obviously, I was pretty happy with the stacking defense. But then I asked it for whether it wanted a Brentford defender or whether it wanted a bloody Fulham defender, and it went Fulham. So then I was like, all right, well, we want a Fulham defender. Let's go Anderson versus bloody Tede, because someone had mentioned Tede in the comments of a video. And it picked bloody Anderson. I was like, this card's no good. I mean, if it gets Anderson off the bench because Kukurea doesn't play and Anderson returns, the card obviously knows something I don't. Obviously, it's gone with that 5 in midfield. It's gone with Cunha and a double-up, Man United double-up, which I thought was weird, but hey, it is what it is. It's also going no Haaland draft. No Haaland for the card here. It's turfed him out. It's got Ollie Watkins and Ekatike sitting This is what I mean. Like, the card just makes up its own mind. It's going with a Thiago captain, no Saka captain. It's going full mental. The card is just going rogue and just doing its own thing. So, I mean, that's why it's at a rank of 6.1 million, because it does stupid decisions like captaining Thiago and buying Watkins and Ekatike and putting them on the bench. But if it comes in, my God, the card's going to look like an absolute mitigated genius. But I just don't see it. But that's the cards team for this game week. So on to the random card questions. And this is, I mean, I've put together these, and I hope bloody Kanji's in the chat, because that's probably the best question of the lot. So remember, if it lands up that side, the answer is yes, or the first option. Whatever that one is, that's the second option, or just a flat out no. So, will the Foden hot streak continue? No. Is Salah finished at Liverpool in January? Yes. Is the D-Unit right about Anderson and Fulham defence? Yes. Will Bournemouth beat United 3-0 again? Yes. That's how you know I'm not making this up. Is Trig reconsidering his Solio payroll? Yes. I almost lost the card then. I almost threw it away. Is Nightmare being paid by Solio for his series? Oh, apparently he's not. Apparently he's doing it legit. Is Gary going to kick them both because Gary View? Yes. Kanji has become an Arsenal fan after selling Virgil van Dijk. Yes. And is taking a hit the play or using the free hit? The card's called it, folks. The D, and it's going to be free hitting. It's landed on the free hit. There you go. So I'm going to have to cook together a free hit draft. But the card has spoken. And remember last year, when it came to wild carding and stuff like that, whatever the card said to do, paid off massively. So I've just got to back it in. It's got form of calling these kind of calls correct. And I reckon maybe the card's going to be cooking for me. So on to the card calls for game week 16, and let's go through some of these beauties. Now this week, I've actually put a bit of thought into it about people and assets that people are going to be buying and stuff like this. So let's see what the card has to say this week. So remember, that side is on the left, that side's on the right. The first one is Vardiol versus Virgil van Dijk. We're going with Vardiol. Anderson versus Van den Berg. Can't believe it, it's gone with Anderson. Cash versus Richards. It's going with Matty Cash. DCL Unit versus Raul Jimenez. I mean, surely it goes to the DCL Unit. No, it does not. It went with Raul Jimenez. Saka Captain versus Haaland Captain. It's going with a Haaland Captain. Raya versus Sanchez. It's going with Sanchez. Rice versus Szoboszlai. Seems to be a hot topic this week. It's going with Declan Rice. And Semenyo versus Cunha. And that one is going with Semenyo. So, those are the 8 card calls this week. And, yeah, that's what they are. I mean, Vardiol, Anderson, Cash, Raul Jimenez, Haaland Captain, Sanchez, Rice, Semenyo. I mean, take off what you want. The card has been in pretty good form ever since Timu Jesus left it behind and it went back to being flipped by me. It's been pretty hot the last couple of weeks, so hopefully it can continue into game week 16. All right, so let's see what the chat's got. The first 8 things are in here. They're going to be the first 8 that we do this week. Let's have a look. Solio review for the best free hit draft this week. Let's ask it. It's going with Carry View. I'm guessing based on the Chelsea finishing top 4 or not. I mean, we need an. I'll ask it, but it reckons no. But we won't be able to count that one because we won't know for a few weeks. Rari, worst admin, yes or no? No. Luke is a troll, yes or no? Yes. The card definitely cooked Trig. It did. The card infiltrated the card. Told you guys that it was going to hit that free hit button. Foden versus Haaland. Haaland. FPL card tell. That card came straight out of Harry's ass. Minte versus Wilson. Wilson. Solio is an FPL tool. Double Chelsea or double Fulham on free hit? Double Chelsea. Foden versus Wilson captain. I mean, come on. Oh my God. Wilson captain. Use a chip this week or not? It's been consistent, yes. Harry is an FPL tool, apparently. Dango versus Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez, apparently. Saka versus Haaland. We've just done that one. Haaland won. Ekitike versus Bowen. Bowen. Wilson versus Voltamata. Oh, they can't decide. The card landed upright. Klein in, Klein out. Klein out. Gordon versus Dango. Dango. Rice versus Mbumo. Rice. And Bruno versus Foden. Phil Foden. All right. Has the card been turned? Definitely not. Not that I'm aware of. Until it sits there and really cocks it up for me, we're going to roll with the card until we get there. But yes, any last questions before we wrap this show up? Please get them in the comments. Again, if you're watching this back, please make sure you're smashing a like, smashing that subscribe button, and watching out for the deadline stream and the live watch longs tomorrow. They are going to be happening at great pace, and we've got lots of stuff planned this weekend, and hopefully some really good football to cover as well. Am I getting a green arrow? I mean, it was pretty right last week, wasn't it, Avi? Apparently, yes, you are. Sunderland versus Newcastle. Card reckons Newcastle are winning. I reckon Sunderland. Someone rubbed that card on Andy's head. What would Timu Jesus do? Play triple captain. Watkins on a free hit will reward. I trust in Bongo, yeah? Yeah, I don't mind it. Free hit versus a hit. Yeah, it said the free hit. Time to cook up my free hit team. I know I need to probably spend a bit of time on that tonight. I'm probably going to wake up before the price changes, so I'm probably just going to be working at a disadvantage. But looks like we are locked in. The card has spoken. Whatever the card speaks to the D-Unit. You don't need a model in FPL. You just need to come and ask the card. And when the card delivers the news, realistically, I should just religiously follow it because it seems to know more than I do. And hopefully it leads me to success this week. No cards. Oh, well, there you go. Maybe it works. Maybe it works opposite for you, Avi. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm rolling with that. Ask the card if the D-Unit will finish in the top 100k this season. Yes, we will. I'm telling you, we're coming, Rahi. This free hit's going to be biblical, and then I'm going to sit there and burn my transfers, get a bit excited. I mean, the dream is still to get inside the top million by game week 19, and I think it's possible. I still believe it is possible to do, so I'm going to roll with it. And FYI, the votes on this thing here, free hit. Let's have a look at how many votes went out. Let's see how close it really was. Wow, so 67% to 33% take a hit. So there you go. Lots of people think that I should probably take the free hit. And look, the thing is, I know I'm losing price value on like Mateta, on Mbumo, and on Munoz, but I'm gaining it back on Bruno G. Like Bruno G is actually going to make me money while I'm free hitting, which is pretty cool as well. So it's not too bad. Mistake buying a white D-Unit hoodie. I would have gone black. No, doesn't think it was a mistake. Has Arteta ever told the truth? No. I rate 3-0 Bournemouth versus United. They won. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared. I hope I'm wrong, but I am scared for Monday night. I feel like it could be a moan along. It could be a moan along this week. Anyways, folks, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for joining. Hopefully you've enjoyed the late mail. Hopefully we've had a little bit of fun. Hopefully you've enjoyed a bit of the cooking session that's been going on tonight as well at Luke's expense. So make sure you give a shout out to him. He's one of my top moderators and does a lot of work for me behind the scenes that goes, well, I try and reward him as much as possible, but probably cooked him a little too hard, but I'm sure he took it the right way. Anyways, thanks for watching. I've been the D-Unit. I'll see you tomorrow on the deadline stream. Keep your eyes out, scheduled for that, and I'll see you then with whatever the hell free hit draft I come up with. We'll just have to wait and see.